You just spent $100 on a brand new neon green performance fishing shirt to look like a professional. But ever since you put it on, you cannot catch a single fish in clear water. Is that just bad luck, or are you actively ruining your own fishing trip? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about a controversial topic that makes a lot of old school anglers very angry. We are going to find out if the bright color of your favorite fishing shirt is the real reason the crystal clear water bite completely died. I am going to reveal a hard truth about fish vision that will change the way you dress for the water forever. Do you think fish care about the color of your clothes, or do you think this is all nonsense? Let me know in the comments right now before we dive in, because this one is going to ruffle some feathers. For decades, fishermen have believed that as long as the bait looks good, nothing else matters. We buy into the idea that fish only look down, ignoring the world above the surface. Because of this, we have developed a terrible habit of dressing for the camera instead of dressing for the environment. We watch professional tournaments on television where guys are wearing flashy jerseys covered in bright reds, yellows, and electric blues. We naturally assume that if the pros wear it, we should wear it too. So we step onto the boat looking like glowing beacons. We do this year after year, completely oblivious to how a fish perceives the world. But in extremely clear water, where fish rely heavily on their eyesight to survive, this innocent fashion choice creates a massive, invisible problem. It is time to break down exactly why this habit is costing you fish. Picture this setup. It is a beautiful Saturday morning. You wake up at 4 o'clock, load up the truck, and head to your favorite Clearwater lake. The water looks like glass. You can see straight down to the bottom, maybe 10 or 15 feet deep. You tie on your favorite lure, step up to the front deck of the boat, and take a deep breath. You are wearing your brand new, bright yellow performance fishing shirt. It cost you $80, and it has all those cool designs on it. You look exactly like the professional guys you see on television. You make your first cast. The lure hits the water softly. You start your retrieve expecting that hard thump on the end of the line. But nothing happens. You cast again and again. 2 hours go by. The sun comes up, lighting up the whole lake. The water is so clear you can see the rocks and the weed beds. You even see fish cruising around, but they will not touch your bait. They take one look and bolt in the opposite direction. You change lures. You change your retrieve speed. Nothing works. The bite is completely dead. Have you ever been in this exact situation? What if the real reason those fish ran away was that glaring yellow shirt you are wearing? When the bite dies in clear water, we always want to blame something else. We fishermen are stubborn like that. We blame the cold front that rolled in last night. We blame the wind or the lack of wind. We say the water is too clear or the fish are just not hungry today. We will sit down in the boat, open our tackle boxes, and retie our lines 10 different times. We switch from a crankbait to a jig and then from a jig to a drop shot. We spend hundreds of dollars on the newest, most realistic baits on the market. We spray them with garlic scent and hope for the best. But we completely ignore the giant, glowing warning sign standing right on top of the boat. That warning sign is you. When you fish in water that looks like a swimming pool, every single detail matters. The fish in these environments are naturally nervous. They have to be, or they get eaten by bigger predators or birds. They are always on high alert. So when they look up and see a bright neon orange or highlighter green shape moving aggressively against the horizon, their survival instinct kicks in. They do not stick around to figure out what you are. They just vanish. And you are left wondering why your expensive new lure is not catching a thing. Let us talk about how fish actually see the world above them. A lot of old school fishermen believe that fish only look down at the bait, or that their vision is too blurry to notice what is happening above the surface. That is a massive myth. In crystal clear water, a fish has incredible vision. Their eyes are designed to detect movement and contrast from far away. When a bass or a trout is sitting in 10 feet of clear water, it has a window to the outside world above. This is called Snell's window. Through this cone of vision, the fish can see everything that breaks the skyline. Now, imagine a calm morning. The surface of the water is totally flat. A fish looks up and sees the soft blue sky, a few white clouds, and the dark green trees on the bank. Everything is natural and muted. Then, suddenly, a glowing red shape steps right to the edge of the boat. You raise your rod to make a cast. To the fish, you look like a massive, flashing strobe light. The contrast between your bright shirt and the natural background is so extreme that it instantly triggers a panic response. The fish does not know you are a fisherman, but it knows you do not belong there. We have all been brainwashed by the professional fishing industry. Turn on any fishing tournament on television and what do you see? You see guys wearing jerseys that look like racing cars. They are covered in bright reds, electric blues, neon greens, and massive logos. Because of this, normal fishermen think that is what they need to wear to be successful. We go to the tackle shop and buy the brightest clothes we can find. But here is the brutal truth. Those professional anglers are wearing those jerseys to please their sponsors, not to catch more fish. They want their logos to show up clearly on camera. Furthermore, a lot of those guys are fishing in muddy or stained water where fish vision is severely limited, or they are casting 70 or 80 feet away. But when you are fishing in a local crystal clear quarry or a pristine mountain lake, those tournament jerseys are your worst enemy. You are basically waving a giant red flag at every fish within a 50-yard radius. If you want to actually catch fish in clear water, you need to stop dressing for a photo shoot and start dressing for a hunt. It is time to leave the flashy tournament gear in the closet. There is a massive difference between fishing in muddy water and fishing in clear water, and your clothing needs to reflect that. In muddy or heavily stained water, the visibility might be less than 2 feet. In those conditions, you could stand on the deck of your boat wearing a bright pink clown suit and doing a dance, and the fish probably would not notice you until the lure hit them on the head. Their vision is severely restricted by the suspended dirt and particles in the water. They are relying on their lateral line to feel the vibration of your bait, rather than using their eyes to hunt. But crystal clear water changes all the rules. When visibility is 10, 20, or even 30 feet, fish are hunting almost entirely by sight. They inspect every single detail of your bait before they commit to biting. And while they are inspecting your bait, they are also keeping a very close eye on the environment around them. If they see a bright, unnatural shape hovering above them, they will abort the mission immediately. The clear water bite is highly fragile. One wrong move or one flash of a bright neon shirt is all it takes to shut down a whole school of feeding fish. Let us look at a real-life example that happens every single weekend. You and your buddy head out to the lake. You are wearing your brand new, bright blue performance hoodie that blocks the sun. Your buddy shows up in an old, faded gray shirt that he has owned for 10 years. You both start fishing the exact same shoreline, using the exact same lures. You are standing on the front of the boat, making long, perfect casts. Your buddy is fishing right behind you. After 2 hours, your buddy has caught 5 beautiful fish, and you have not even had a single bite. You start getting frustrated. You think he is just getting lucky, or maybe he is using a secret scent on his bait. But the reality is much simpler. As the boat moves along the clear water shoreline, the fish are seeing you first. Your bright blue hoodie stands out sharply against the dark tree line behind you. The fish see you, get nervous, and stop feeding. But by the time your buddy throws his lure past them, you have moved on, and the fish only see his muted, faded gray shirt that blends in perfectly with the sky and the trees. He is catching the fish that you scared away simply because of what you wore. The whole concept comes down to blending into your surroundings, just like a hunter in the woods. You would never go deer hunting wearing a neon yellow jacket, unless you were required to for safety. You wear camouflage because you want to break up your outline and disappear into the trees. Fishing in crystal clear water requires the exact same mindset. You are a predator trying to trick an animal in its natural environment. When you stand up on a boat or a high bank, you are completely exposed. There is no brush to hide behind. Your silhouette is printed perfectly against the sky. If you wear a solid, bright color, that silhouette becomes a hard, undeniable shape that screams danger. Fish have survived for millions of years by avoiding strange, moving shapes above the water. Birds of prey like eagles and ospreys dive from the sky to grab them. Herons stand on the bank waiting to spear them. To a bass or a trout, anything large and bright moving above the surface is a threat to their life. When you wear muted colors, you soften that silhouette. You become less of a threat, which makes the fish more willing to let their guard down and strike your bait. Let us dive deeper into the science of light penetration in clear water. When the sun is shining directly on the lake, the light penetrates deep into the water column, but it also reflects off everything above the surface. Modern fishing apparel is often made with advanced synthetic fabrics. These materials are designed to wick away sweat and keep you cool, but many of them also have a shiny, almost reflective quality to them. When the bright morning sun hits your neon green synthetic shirt, it actually reflects that light back down toward the water. It is like you are holding a giant mirror on the front deck of your boat. Even if a fish is hiding under a dock or buried deep in a weed bed, that unnatural reflection catches their eye. It creates a flash of color that does not exist anywhere in nature. Fish are incredibly sensitive to light changes. A sudden flash of bright green or electric blue shining down from the surface is completely alien to them. They do not stick around to investigate. They simply hunker down, lock their jaws tight, and wait for the strange, glowing object to leave the area. That is how a single shirt can ruin your best fishing spot. If you still do not believe me, take a look at the most successful fishermen in the world when it comes to clear water. Look at the hardcore fly fishermen who chase native trout in tiny, crystal clear mountain streams. These guys are absolute fanatics about stealth. You will never see a serious trout fisherman walking up to a stream wearing a bright red shirt and a white hat. They wear olive greens, muddy browns, and dull grays. They creep along the bank on their hands and knees just to avoid casting a shadow over the water. They know that if the fish sees them for even a split second, the game is completely over. Bass fishermen and walleye fishermen need to learn this lesson. Just because you are fishing in a larger body of water does not mean the fish are any less spooky. When the water visibility reaches past 10 feet, a smallmouth bass acts exactly like a paranoid mountain trout. They use their eyes to survive. We need to adopt that stealthy mentality. We need to stop treating a fishing trip like a fashion show and start treating it like a tactical stealth mission. Your clothing is the very first line of defense against spooking the fish. Now, let us talk about the concept of matching the hatch, but applied to your wardrobe. When we say match the hatch, we usually mean choosing a lure that looks like the local baitfish or insects. But you can also match the hatch with your clothing by blending into the background. You have to consider what is directly behind you from the perspective of the fish. If you are standing on a boat in the middle of the lake, the background is the sky. On a bright, cloudless day, a light blue or white shirt is actually your best camouflage. It blends directly into the bright sky behind you. But if you are fishing from the bank or casting towards the shore with tall, dark trees behind you, a white shirt is a terrible idea. Against dark green trees, white stands out like a sore thumb. In that situation, you want to wear dark greens, browns, or even camouflage patterns to blend into the foliage. You have to constantly think about your outline. If you wear a bright orange shirt, you will never blend into the sky, and you will never blend into the trees. You will always be a high contrast, highly visible target that puts every fish in the area on immediate high alert. One of the most painful things to watch is a fisherman trying to sight fish while wearing high-visibility clothing. Sight fishing in clear water is one of the most exciting ways to catch fish. You drift along the shallow flats, looking for cruising fish or fish sitting on beds. When you spot one, you pitch your bait right to them and watch them eat it. But here is the golden rule of sight fishing. If you can see the fish can absolutely see you. And because they are looking up through the water, they actually have a better vantage point than you do. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen a guy wearing a bright yellow shirt spot a giant bass in 2 feet of water. He gets super excited, waves his arms around, and makes a cast. Before the bait even touches the water, the fish kicks its tail and disappears into the depths. The fisherman blames his cast or says the fish was not hungry. He completely ignores the fact that he was glowing like a road sign in the bright sunshine. When you are sight fishing, wearing muted, natural colors is not just a good idea, it is an absolute requirement if you want to be consistently successful on the water. There is another invisible factor that we need to talk about, and that is ultraviolet light. A lot of modern, brightly colored performance shirts actually reflect ultraviolet light. We human beings cannot see ultraviolet light with our naked eyes. To us, the shirt just looks like a nice bright blue or green. But many species of fish, including bass and trout, can see ultraviolet light perfectly. In fact, they use it to hunt and track prey in the water. When you wear a shirt that reflects heavy amounts of ultraviolet light, you are essentially vibrating visually to the fish. You are putting off a frequency of light that completely overloads their senses. It is like someone shining a high-powered laser pointer directly into your eyes. You would turn away and run, right? That is exactly what the fish do. Some clothing companies are actually starting to realize this, and they are making fishing apparel that absorbs ultraviolet light instead of reflecting it. But if you are buying the cheapest, brightest synthetic shirts off the discount rack, there is a very high chance you are walking around wearing a massive ultraviolet reflector that is scaring away your catch. I know it is hard to break old habits. When you go into a tackle shop, the clothing section is designed to catch your eye. The racks are filled with vibrant, awesome-looking colors and massive, aggressive logos. As consumers, we are naturally drawn to things that look cool. We want to take a nice picture holding a big fish, and we want to look good for social media. A plain, boring gray or olive green long-sleeve shirt just does not look as cool on the rack. But you have to ask yourself what your real priority is. Do you want to look like a professional tournament angler standing on a boat catching absolutely nothing? Or do you want to wear a boring, faded old shirt and actually catch the biggest fish of your life? The ego of the fisherman is a funny thing. We will spend thousands of dollars on high-tech electronics, silent trolling motors, and fluorocarbon line that is completely invisible underwater. We go to all of these extreme lengths to hide our presentation from the fish. But then we completely sabotage the entire operation by throwing on a neon pink hoodie. It makes zero sense when you actually sit down and think about it logically. Let us talk about the specific situations where a bright shirt will do the most damage. The absolute worst time to wear bright colors is during the morning and evening twilight hours in calm, clear water. During these times, the water surface is often glass smooth. There is no wind to put a ripple on the surface. That ripple is important because it acts like a natural blur filter for the fish. When the water is choppy, it breaks up your outline and makes it harder for the fish to see you clearly. But when it is dead calm, the surface acts like a perfect two-way mirror. The fish can see a razor-sharp image of everything above them. During those twilight hours, fish often move up into very shallow water to feed on bait fish. They are in less than 3 feet of water, making them highly vulnerable. Because they are shallow, they are extremely hyper-aware of their surroundings. If you stand tall on the boat deck in a bright yellow shirt on a calm morning, you are destroying your chances before you even make your first cast. The fish will sense your presence from 30 yards away and quietly slip back into the deeper, safer water without you ever knowing they were there. Consider the psychology of a heavily pressured fish. In most public lakes and rivers today, the fish see hundreds of lures every single week. They hear the hum of trolling motors constantly. They are educated, cautious, and very hard to trick. These pressured fish learn to associate certain sights and sounds with danger. If they see a boat hull, they know danger is near. If they hear a heavy splash, they get nervous. But more than anything, they learn to associate unnatural human silhouettes with getting hooked. An older, larger fish did not grow to be a trophy size by being stupid. That big fish has probably been hooked and released before. It knows what a fisherman looks like. When that smart old fish looks up and sees a bright, blocky shape of unnatural color standing above the water, it immediately locks its jaw. It remembers the last time it saw that shape. You could throw the most realistic, expensive lure in the world right in front of its nose, and it will just watch it sink to the bottom. To catch those old, wise, heavily pressured fish in clear water, you have to be completely undetectable. You have to remove every single warning sign, starting with your shirt. The way you move your body also interacts directly with the color you are wearing. Let us say you are wearing a muted gray shirt. When you move your arm to cast, the movement is subtle. It blends in with the gray clouds or the distant trees. The fish might notice a slight blur, but it does not instantly alarm them. Now, put on a highlighter orange shirt. Every single time you move your arm to twitch your rod, reel your line, or reach for a drink of water, you are flashing a bright, high-contrast signal across the sky. The fish are picking up on that rhythmic flashing motion. Cast after cast, twitch after twitch, you are telegraphing your presence to the entire lake. Even if a fish was curious about your lure, the constant bright flashing above the water will eventually unnerve them. They prefer a quiet, natural environment when they feed. You have to remember that fishing is an ambush game. You want to surprise the fish. You cannot surprise anything if you are doing jumping jacks in a bright orange safety vest. Smooth, slow movements combined with natural, muted colors will drastically reduce the amount of visual noise you are putting into the water. I challenge you to try a simple, real-world experiment next time you go fishing in clear water. Pick a weekend where the weather is going to be stable for 2 days in a row. On Saturday morning, wear your favorite, brightest tournament fishing shirt, the one with all the flashy colors and logos. Go out and fish your favorite spots. Keep track of how many fish you catch, how many bites you get, and how the fish react when they follow your lure to the boat. Pay attention to how many times a fish follows your bait, sees you, and swims away. Then go back out on Sunday morning, fish the exact same spots at the exact same time using the exact same lures. But this time, wear a plain, dull gray, olive green, or sky blue shirt. Wear a muted hat. Keep a low profile. I guarantee you will notice a difference in how the fish behave. You will notice that fish are more willing to follow your lure all the way to the side of the boat. You will notice fewer fish bolting away in terror when you set the hook. This little experiment is often all it takes to completely change the mind of a stubborn fisherman. Seeing the difference with your own 2 eyes is believing. Let us also talk about how to adapt your wardrobe for different weather conditions. Because clear water does not always mean clear skies. If you are fishing on a dark, heavily overcast day, the sky above the fish is a blanket of dark gray. In this situation, wearing a very light blue or white shirt can actually create a bad contrast. On dark, cloudy days, you want to wear darker grays, slate, or even black to blend into that moody skyline. On the flip side, if there is not a single cloud in the sky and the sun is blazing bright, a dark black shirt will create a massive, solid black silhouette that stands out against the bright blue backdrop. In that bright sun scenario, a light sky blue or a soft white shirt is your best camouflage. It is all about minimizing the contrast between your body and whatever is behind you. It takes a little bit of extra thought before you get dressed in the morning, but this attention to detail is what separates the guys who catch a few lucky fish from the guys who consistently pull giant limits out of high-pressure, crystal-clear lakes. You have to start thinking exactly like the prey you are trying to hunt down. There is a psychological advantage that happens when you know you are properly camouflaged. When you are wearing muted colors and blending in, you naturally start fishing better. You feel stealthy. You start making softer, quieter casts. You step more lightly on the deck of the boat. You approach a promising spot with more caution, cutting your trolling motor early and letting the wind drift you in perfectly, silently. Because you have committed to the stealth mindset, your entire approach to fishing improves. When you wear a flashy neon tournament shirt, you tend to fish loudly and aggressively because you feel like a superstar. But superstar confidence does not catch clearwater fish. Stealth, patience, and a low profile catch clearwater fish. By changing your clothing, you are actually reprogramming your brain to fish smarter. You stop relying on luck and start relying on strategy. You begin to respect the senses of the fish. Once you embrace this silent, invisible approach, you will find that the clearwater bite is not nearly as dead as you thought it was. The fish are still there, and they are still hungry. They were just waiting for you to stop scaring them. So, the next time you are standing in the tackle shop, staring at that rack of expensive, brightly colored fishing shirts, take a step back and think. Ask yourself if that highlighter yellow sleeve is really going to help you trick a paranoid, eagle-eyed fish in 10 feet of crystal clear water. Save the bright colors for the muddy rivers and the loud tournament weigh-ins. When you are dealing with clear water, calm winds, and spooky fish, boring is always better. Go find the dullest, most natural colors you can find. Embrace the greens, the grays, the browns, and the sky blues. It might not look as spectacular in your fishing photos, but you are going to be taking a whole lot more photos because you will actually be catching fish. The clearwater bite does not just mysteriously die for no reason. It dies because we get sloppy, we get loud, and we make ourselves entirely too visible. Take control of the things you can actually control. Blend in, stay quiet, keep your profile low, and watch how quickly your luck turns around. You might just realize that the biggest secret to catching more fish has been hiding right inside your closet this entire time. To wrap things up, the most shocking realization is not just that fish can see your bright clothes, but that your modern, expensive shirts might actually be glowing in ultraviolet light right in front of their eyes. It is the ultimate plot twist. You paid good money for gear that is actively warning the fish to run away. Once you understand how fish view silhouettes in contrast against the sky, you can completely change your approach. By wearing dull, muted colors and matching your background, you transform from a loud intruder into an invisible predator. Your clear water bite will suddenly come back to life. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. If this video made you rethink your fishing wardrobe, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more hardcore fishing truths. Now I want to hear from you. Are you going to keep wearing your bright, lucky shirt? Or are you switching to camouflage next weekend? Drop a comment below and let us debate it.